All right. What's up, good people? Man, your boy not feeling good today, man. I'm gonna try to do this quick stream. As you guys can probably tell, my voice don't sound the same. Not feeling good at all, man. But I gotta come and show up for Steeler Nation, man. So give me a moment, guys. And let me share the stream out to a few special people. And I'll probably repeat what I just said a couple times, man, just so everybody knows what I'm dealing with. I don't know what's going on. Just don't feel good, man. My body's aching, my throat's hurting, and one of those little summertime colds, I guess. And after I'm done here, I'm gonna run upstairs and let the missus take care of me. So give me just a second, guys, man. Like I said, I hope you guys can probably tell in my voice that I'm just not all the way there, but give me a second, man. We're going to try to get through this thing. It's going to be a pretty short show tonight, man. It's not going to be that long. And I mean that. I'm not even sure I'll do phone calls tonight because if you guys can feel how my body feels right now, I'm just not nowhere near 100%, man. But give me a hot second. Let me share the link out here. And then we'll be good to go. I see a couple of you guys are saying rest in peace to Daryl Drake. We're definitely going to get into that. No question. No question, man. We'll do a moment of silence for him. All right. So here we are, man. Let me do the quick introduction. You guys are probably seeing it in my eyes, hearing it in my voice. I'm not 100%, but hey, man, still is strong, right? Still is strong. So, all right, let's get into it, man. Let's do the quick introductions, or as far as y'all know what I do, the roll call. More AGWS, what's good, Smitty, Y Diggy, Jay Waller, Brandon Cheney, Bowman 19, Patrick Covington Jr., Champagne Poppy, Jared Devil. I appreciate that, man. He says he hopes I feel better. I definitely appreciate that, man. The Hawk is in the building. Jay Will, Nathan Spratt. Let's see who else we got in here. Brandon McManus, Luis D, BSG74. And that's about it for right now. Alan Woodall, what's good, man? I've been back under Alan, I'm under the weather right now. Gosh, I don't even know what's happening, man. I'm seriously, what's up to Roger? But all right, let's get started, man. I don't want to wait. I don't want to be too long. I'll wait a few more minutes because I want to, as many of you guys in here to be in here, and we'll do a quick respect to Daryl Drake. What's up, Tony, man? Your brother ain't feeling good tonight, man. Rough. I'm fighting it, man. But still is strong, right? I see that I didn't even change the description, so I apologize, man. I'm gonna have to go back and do all of that. I am off my rocker. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Let's get to it. What we're going to talk about tonight, a couple things. We definitely want to talk about, I'm going to talk about AB just for a hot second. Him in the helmet situation. I'm going to be very brief with that. Definitely want to talk about a couple other guys that I think were standouts in the preseason game. For you guys that didn't see the post-game show, I did watch the game again twice. I'm actually going to try to watch it tonight. And I know I'm telling a lie right there because once I get upstairs, I'm probably going to be wrapped up or knocked out or what have you. Funny story, my father-in-law, Leonard, a lot of you guys know, he lives in the same neighborhood, him and my mother-in-law. And come to find out, they came over here. I had no idea. My wife did Taco Tuesday tonight, so anytime she makes a decent meal like that, she'll call him over. He said he was over here, and him and myself and my son were asleep. I don't even recall him being here. So that goes to show you how bad I'm feeling. But yeah, so we'll definitely dive into a little bit of those things, talking about, the guys that I thought excelled, and, a couple guys that I might have a small concern with, and a couple, not a couple, but one guy that might not make this roster, folks. I know this is premature, and, the preseason is going to tell a story. I know I'm intrigued now to watch the preseason because a couple of these guys might not make the team. So where do y'all want to start? First and foremost, we're going to do a rest in peace to Daryl Drake. So here in a moment, I'm going to do a moment of silence. I'll do about 10 seconds. If you guys can, let's honor the moment of silence. Don't even, chat or anything when I say, all right, go. Tough news, man. Very tough news. We don't know the cause of death. And to be quite frank, I don't think we need to know. I think the society now with social media, everybody needs to know, and you really don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's none of our business. Let's respect the family. At the end of the day, his wife lost a husband, 3 daughters lost a father. Our team lost a guy who they leaned on as a father. They said he was a spiritual leader. I know Tony appreciates that. And in case you guys don't know, yeah, we're spiritual people as well. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not ashamed to say that. The funny thing is, guys, I've talked about the Lord in the past, and I've had people unsub from my channel because I talked about, the Lord. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. If that offends you, you can go elsewhere. I'm the type of guy, and I'll just say this really quick. I don't disrespect anybody else and what they believe in. I listen to everything, but I'm definitely a spiritual person, man. So to hear that a lot of the guys said that they leaned on Daryl Drake for that, as well as Mike Tomlin, that's huge. That's huge. I'm always impressed by people that, they don't fear, preaching the gospel, if that makes sense. Because we've all been there. We've all been young and, I don't want to say nothing. And y'all know what I'm saying. So it always impresses me when somebody just, unapologetically they just who they are. They are who they are, and they don't care how somebody else feels. So I love that. But anyway, real quick, guys, let's do a moment of silence, about 15 seconds, starting now, to honor Daryl Drake. All right, and what we're definitely going to do, man, is we're going to end that with a round of applause. If I can find it here. Give me a second. Give me a second, man. I want to honor his life as well. You know what I mean? It's not always about, being sad. So let's give him a round of applause for the man that he was from what we're hearing. All right, let's give another round of applause to BSG74, man. I really appreciate the donation, man. Round of applause, and I'll read your comment. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's what I do it for, man. I appreciate the respect. He says, much respect to you and your family for the efforts that you make for our still a family. God bless Coach Drake. Rest in peace. Yeah, and like I told my wife a little while ago, and I'm not doing this for any pity, but I told her, I said, listen, I don't feel so bad the way I can't talk. So I'm going to give the people at least a little show, at least show up, because we're starting to get into the groove of this thing. I don't want to disappear unless it's an emergency. So it's going to be short tonight. I'm feeling horrible, but Steelers will make me feel better, and I know you guys will as well. So, all right, man. Y'all said Nightbot is tripping already, and I apologize, guys. I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to tweak the settings a little bit. Bear with me. I'm fairly new to Nightbot, so I'll get that going, definitely as we progress through the season here. But let's talk about Antonio Brown really quick, man. Listen. 3 simple words. Not our problem. That's it. That's what Tony and I and Kenyon all said via text. I'm so glad, and my cousin Floyd, if he's in here, I'm so glad that he's not our problem anymore. But it just goes to show you, and I put this on Twitter, and y'all know I'm active on Twitter, but I don't be on Twitter all day. So, I poke my head here, here and there. I try to stay away from social media, man. Social media really is just not. It's not something that you should consume all day, every day. Just peek your head in there from time to time to communicate with folk. But I tweeted, I said, it's interesting, man. Who do we think won the draft? Not the draft, the trade now. And I have to say that because we're all guilty of it. We blame the team a lot, and we scream and kick at them and all of that. And a lot of times we don't know the ins and outs. we have to trust the organization. We might not agree with everything, because I certainly do not. Something I'm going to talk about here tonight that I didn't agree with the defense that was played. I know it was very vanilla, but I'm going to get to that in the preseason game. But for the most part, we have to trust in a Kevin Colbert and a Art Rooney and a Mike Tomlin and all of these guys that have their hands on the pulse of the team day in and day out. It just goes to show you that Antonio Brown is who he is. And maybe we came out with the better end of the stick here, so to speak. You hear a lot of the teammates saying, listen, we're about team now, and that's big. You know, some people would say that's, you know, like they say it in a funny term, hyperbole. But some people would say it's hyperbole that, you know, the team is now saying, oh, we're about team now. Some of it could be, but I think some of it is really genuine. I think some of these players really felt that about Antonio Brown, especially Juju. You know, the way he threw Juju under the bus for no reason and made himself look worse by exposing a tweet or an Instagram message that Juju sent to him, just praising him and saying, hey, man, if you could give me any tips while in college. Just shows you the type of guy he is, and it's unfortunate because I hate to put down another brother. Some of you guys know what that means. I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I am nowhere close to that. I love all people. But I try not to put down, you know, young African-American males that are trying to do something positive. I try not to, because I don't want to be a part of that cycle. And anybody, you know, any minority or any person, I don't care if you're not a minority, I just don't want to be a part of that cycle. But definitely, obviously, because I am an African-American male, I try not to be negative towards other African-American males unless they're clearly wrong. And in this case, Antonio Brown is clearly wrong. He seems to be a nutcase. I don't know why. I get it with the helmet thing, but dude, the NFL is, as much as I don't agree with the NFL a lot, they're trying to move on from certain equipment that they feel like is not as safe. Just play by the rules, dog. I get it. It's your lucky helmet or whatever. Dude, you really think you're not going to be Antonio Brown without that helmet? Just, again, I went too far on that. I wasted too much time talking about him. Like I said, 3 words, not our problem. Wash our hands of him. And if I was the Raiders, I would never trade with the Steelers for any other receivers, because they've gotten burned twice now, and we've actually benefited from a receiver that we've gotten from them. So there you have it. Now let's talk about some of the guys, man, that I feel like were standouts in that game. Obviously, Devin Bush. Wow. Again, watching the game over and over, it's the little things that he did. Even the plays that he didn't make a play, he was effective. You know, the way he's able to penetrate the block and take on the block, and his sideline capability and his reaction time looked good. And here's the caveat. At first, I was like, oh, it's preseason. But let's not, you know, make no mistake. Tampa Bay came out in pretty much their first team offense. And he's going against Jameis Winston. Whether you hate or love him, I'm always going to respect my nose. But Jameis Winston hasn't been what was advertised. He hasn't been the Jameis Winston, famous Jameis of Florida State. Hasn't been that in the NFL per se. But he's still an NFL quarterback that's seen that and done that. Right? And Devin Bush out there going against pretty much the first team offense, he represented himself well. That interception he almost had. And I know he's kicking himself in the butt, but don't worry about the fact that he dropped it. Look at how he was able to play the tight end. What's been one of our biggest issues in our defense? Number 1, down the seam. Number 2, guarding tight ends. And Devin Bush was all over that at 5'11". He's not even a tall guy, but he was. That's what I'm trying to say, man. I love what I see out of this kid. I'm not going to get overhyped. It's preseason, but there's a such thing as seeing intangibles. Some of you guys who may have played football, or some of you guys that have kids old enough, you know, sons old enough that play some type of sport, y'all know when you can tell who the good ones are early. I'm talking about even at like 6, 7 years old, because they have certain intangibles. They have certain it factor that the other kids don't necessarily do, like their balance or the way they react, or you know, their hand and eye coordination. You start seeing this stuff early, and that's what I mean by it is preseason. But I'm able to see that from Devin Bush extremely early. He got it. He's got it. Now here's another guy that stood out to me. obviously James Washington, but we expect him to do that. So I'm not going to really go down that road since, I don't have a lot of time tonight. I'm going to talk about a guy that some of y'all probably didn't know, and I didn't know him either. This kid, what's his name? Tuzar Skipper? Hey, man, let me tell you something. Sutton Smith better get back on the field. Now, I didn't get a chance today to check and see, if he had any action going. I didn't get to find that out today. I'll check on that a little later. Maybe some of you guys in the chat can let me know. I'm going to tell you something, man. If you're talking about like a guy on the bottom end of the roster, listen, that dude was balling out there. Now, I get it. He's like Dave Bryan says, he's going against furniture movers. But listen, you can only go against who you're going against. He showed some flashes. He could end up being one of those guys at the end of the roster. Maybe not Sutton Smith, especially if Sutton Smith can't get on the field soon. You better hurry up. Because if he doesn't get a chance to play in preseason game 2, and the starters are going to play at least a half, you would think, in preseason game 3, is preseason game 4 enough? Training camp practice is starting to dwindle down. Sutton Smith might not be on the team. I'm just saying, if you can't deny a guy like Skipper if he continues to show up like that. The same way we felt about Ola last year. Ola continued to show up in preseason, and he made it to the point where we was like, well, we can't let this guy go. An undrafted free agent. The Steelers have a history of signing up one or two of these guys. I'm just saying, maybe they can sneak him on the practice squad, but if Sutton Smith doesn't show up, it's going to be very hard because now even in the inside linebacker group, there's going to be some situations there too. I don't think, I thought maybe he would get cut, but I don't know if Dirty Red is going to get cut now. Now, I don't want him on the field defensively per se, but he's still a special teams guy. You might want to keep an extra inside linebacker. That brings me to Gilbert. Gilbert showed some flashes. Now, again, he's against the bottom half of the roster that he was playing against, but I'm just talking about his ability. Still raw. But Gilbert, man, I agree with Kenyon. Kenyon tweeted, I keep saying tweeted. Kenyon texted me the other day and saying, look, I mark my words, 2 to 3 years, it'll be Bush and Gilbert as our starting inside linebackers. That ain't that far-fetched. That speed, can you imagine if Gilbert can give us anything and we have him and Bush in the inside? Wow. Oof, and my throat's starting to hurt again, guys. It won't be much longer. But can you imagine that? I'm just saying, man. I'm getting very excited about that, man. I'm, just looking at some of these younger guys. Justin Lane, I'm not ready to call it on him yet, but he looked like a rookie in the game. I went back and watched the game, and it's funny because Tomlin, and I love this about Tomlin. I listened to Tomlin's press conference earlier, and he said that, and I love this because now he's starting to call guys out more. He used to be a little more, I won't say passive, but he would be a little more keeping it in-house. But he even said it. He said, look, at times he looked like, it was too big for him. And I agree. Especially on that first touchdown. You have to make that tackle. Even if you get ran over. Wrap up and make the tackle. He looked like he was in Pop Warner trying to make that tackle on, I believe it was Barber, who scored on that touchdown. Can't have that. Now here's the problem I got with the coaching staff. Probably Keith Butler. Again, it's preseason. I'm not going to go crazy with it. But, wearing down, guys. Bear with me. I didn't like the fact, I understand why they played a lot of vanilla defense, the basic cover threes and things like that. But I wanted to see them put Justin Lane in more press situations. Why was they having him play off coverage? We know that's not going to be his strong suit. So why not, in a game that doesn't matter, I go out there and let that man press the whole game. Press, 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 press. Cardi don't need no press. For you guys that know that. Got to throw a little joke in there, right? Press him. All game. Get in his face. Man him up. I don't care what we doing on the other side. Let's see how you do playing man. Okay? That's what I need. Why? Why play off coverage with him? I don't understand that. Listen, again. I'm not blaming coaches, but just like I said earlier in the call, I don't always agree. I don't get that. That's what he's primarily there for, is to be a man coverage type of guy. So let's see him play man. Because like on that first drive, man, one of them third downs they converted, I swear he was like 8 yards off the ball on 3rd and 3. And y'all know who else used to do that? And it's just the way our defense worked. LeBeau used to do that all the time too. I think it was the backside corner, I believe, or it might have been the strong side, but I think it was the guy on the backside of the formation. We used to always let that corner sag off. And I never understood it. I get it. I knew what they was trying to do and set the trap and all that, but not in short yardage situations. To me, that's when you get right in their face, and it's mano a mano. But again, with Justin Lane specifically, let's see what the kid has. We know zone ain't it. We drafted him for his big body and press man capability, and I didn't see a lot of that. But I'm going to watch it again, man, to make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, this will be my, I'll say 2.5 times watching it. I don't know. I don't get that. Who else, man? Trying to think. Well, who else excelled in the game? I'm trying to think, man. I'm losing my thought here. I think that's all I wanted to cover. Scott. Oh, let's throw a curveball at you guys real quick. Who do you guys think is going to be the 3rd string quarterback? I would like to say it would be Dobbs as the 3rd string, and I hope Mason Rudolph overtakes him. Not because I hate Dobbs. It's just I want Mason Rudolph to prove that pick was worthy. I think he's a better pocket passer. He shows some things. I want to see him progress. I think he's a better long-term option than Dobbs. So I definitely want to see him at least overtake the number 2 spot. But that number 3 spot, everybody's talking about this Devlin Hodges guy. He did look decent. Made some misfires too, but you know, all of them played pretty well. But I don't know which way the Steelers are going to go, because let me tell you something. Last year, I thought for certain they was going to be old, reliable Steelers. You know what they do. They go with the comfort. They go with the veteran. I thought they was going to keep Landry Jones, and they didn't. They cut Landry and let Landry walk in favor of Dobbs and Rudolph. Dobbs being the number 2. Makes me wonder, this is going to be very interesting down the stretch. Will they keep Dobbs? Obviously, they're going to keep Rudolph. But will it be Dobbs or will it be Hodges? Are they able to sneak Hodges on the practice squad? Don't know. And I'm not saying this dude is a world beater or anything. I'm just saying, if we're talking pure quarterbacking, Dobbs is too inconsistent for me. He can get you out of a tough situation with the run game. I always appreciate that. Cordell could do that. But I hate to say this, man, because I give everybody a chance, but the truth of the matter is Dobbs really disappointed me in Oakland last year. Really did. Came in that game against the Ravens and that big 3rd down possession. Pretty throw, pretty ball, threw it low, picked up the 3rd and 20 or whatever it was. And the Oakland game, man, was just, that showed me all I needed to see. And if Leonard is in here, he'll remember this. The year when we went to the Cardinals game at Heinz Field and what's his name? Martavis Bryant, caught the slant and took that thing about 80 yards and cross field. We was there at that game. But what I remember saying that day is, hey, man, Landry ain't the best, but Landry got the job done. And that's what I need to see our backup quarterback do. Ain't nobody going to be Ben. That just ain't going to happen. I don't think we have that guy yet. We're probably years away from a franchise guy. But at least be able to come in and scoot us on down the field. Win the game. We got the lead. Just manage the game. Just be a game manager. I don't trust Dobbs to do that. He showed me that in Oakland. That was a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not big on Dobbs anymore. That's just my opinion. So that's it, man. I'm sure, guys, there's other things I'm forgetting, man, because there's stuff that I wanted to talk about that happened, during the week, and I'm not in the right frame of mind right now. I'm sickly. Wish me well. Hopefully, I can get better tonight. I'm the type of person, and this is an obvious statement. I don't like being sick. I look sick in the face and be like, yeah, right. The main reason why I still did the show tonight. I don't like that feeling. I like to be productive at all times. I hate being down for any reason. But my mind is gone tonight, man. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Sorry that I didn't get to the phone calls tonight, man, and sorry that this had to be a shorter show. I honestly say it came out better than I thought it would. I thought I'd be all over the place. But I'll spend a little bit of time here with you guys, man. Go ahead and fire away in the chat, man. Anything y'all want me to address. Let's see. Smitty says his arm is way too inconsistent. I felt his reads, but Josh Warren is way too inconsistent for my liking. Josh Warren? What y'all talking about? Relfax says Dobbs has big playability, but he's not progressing as a passer. Listen, man, I gotta give you a round of applause. It's exactly how I feel about Dobbs. Dobbs can do some things, but he's just not it, man. You know what I'm saying? Kenya says Trevor Lawrence is going to be number one. We will not draft him. Oh, okay, y'all talking about college quarterbacks. All right, got you. Lee Sharp says Mason looked good. Dobbs scares me to death. I know, Lee. Don't make me laugh, man. My chest and throat hurts, man. Champagne Poppy says next year's draft has some good quarterbacks. Okay. Appreciate that, Why Dig. Yeah, I'm gonna try to, man. I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna do the old remedy, man. My family, like I said, I'm born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, so I have some country roots. So I got some country remedies that I'm gonna do. Put a little honey in my tea and stuff like that. I should be all right, man. Bugs. Yeah. BSG, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And appreciate the donation again. Bugs did all right, man. Again, when you're looking at these guys that late in the game and against the certain people they're going against in preseason, you don't want to get caught up looking at how well they did as far as stats. You just want to look at their intangibles. Bugs did okay, man. I think Bugs has locked up a spot on the roster, in my opinion. I think he's better than everybody else in terms of the lower half. Big Dan is probably going to make the team. So that's probably going to be our 6. If you're looking at it like that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Haywood, Tuitt, Hargrave, Alualu. I saw Alualu out there, but I didn't pay much attention to him. So that's why I watched the game more than one time, man, so I could focus on different people. And then it's probably going to be Alualu, Bugs, and McCullers. I don't see the rest of those guys making it. I think the competitions right now is definitely at outside linebacker, with Skipper actually being able to put something on tape. And Gilbert, I mean, God, man, the way the best thing in the world, I remember telling Kenyon this, man, is when, and we're no pro scouts, none of us, we're all just fans. But y'all remember how much we were scouting players, and Kenyon and I and Tony, we looking at film and trying, I told y'all, Kenyon is our resident scout. Kenyon knows his football, knows his players, knows the intangibles, all of that. So I defer to him a lot of times, even though, I have the same capability, but Kenyon is the guy when it comes to that. So we looking at tape, and main thing we noticed, we was like, yo, why is Gilbert split out so wide all the time? He's always out covering guys in space in pass coverage. That was attractive. And to see that show up in the game, that right there, I text Kenyon, I said, bro, I feel good about that. We emphasized his pass coverage ability, and it showed up in the game in a time that it mattered. It was a 2-point conversion attempt. That could be, just hypothetically, that could be a game-winning situation there. See what I'm saying? So I love stuff like that. I got to go back and look at a few more snaps of Cam Kelly. Another guy, and I heard this, and I agree with Alex Kazor and Dave over at Steelers Depot. I listened to their podcast yesterday. Marcus Allen might be in trouble too, man. He's not making a lot of noise. And Eli Rogers, what they said makes sense too. Why Eli only play a few snaps? Is his spot solidified? I mean, he only played like 5 or 6 snaps, whereas Switzer played more than he did. So that's going to be interesting. What are they going to do with Johnny Holton? I feel like Holton is the type of guy we might need to keep on the roster. He's played in the NFL. He has that speed. He has that after-catch capability. We don't really have a blazer. He might be our guy that like Kenyon said in the text, the young Darius Haywood Bay. What seems to be better hands. I don't know. It's interesting. But all right, man, a few more minutes, man. Wow, we did it. We got 30 minutes. We're literally at 29 minutes and 57 seconds. So we'll stay here about 2 or 3 more minutes and then we'll get out of here. Let me go back up and read some comments. Milton Buckner says, Sim, can you believe that classless bum Brown hasn't showed any remorse for Coach Drake? Can't stand. Wow, really? He hasn't said anything? See, like I said, I'm not one for judging. And I'm sorry, let me say this real quick. Whoever's in the queue, area code 484, I apologize, man. I'm not taking calls tonight because I'm under the weather. I'm about to wrap up the show. I apologize for that. I have and I'm not lying to you guys, I have somewhat of a photographic memory. So I will definitely get you in on the next stream, whether it's next Tuesday or if it's the post-game show. I apologize for that. But yeah, I can't do it tonight. So I appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate you calling. But I don't know if everybody heard that at the beginning of the show. Wow, man. If AB didn't... Listen, I'm not one for judging people. I'm just saying, come on, man. Come on. Have some class. Tevin Jones and Holden looking like they might be good enough on making the roster. What do you think? I don't know, Luis. Tevin Jones kind of scares me in terms of making the roster because he's a been there, done that type of guy with us. You know, he could be primed for practice squad again if he's still eligible. I just feel like he's had enough opportunities, and I'm not, dissing his game. I'm just saying it would seem like the coaches aren't sold, if that makes sense. Now, Holton, I think, has a huge chance to make the 53-man roster. Rough House Boxing says, is there any way to keep both Skipper and Gilbert? Yeah. Sutton Smith. Sutton Smith is the key. Now, I got to go back and look through the numbers, but if just trying to do the rough estimate in my mind, you would think Sutton Smith makes the roster because he's a draft pick. But if he doesn't get to play, or if Skipper outperforms him, there's his spot. Because what we got at the outside, right? TJ, Bud, Adaney, who else? Chick. Who's the other guy? The fifth guy would be Sutton, right? There's Skipper. The Skipper is an outside linebacker. And then Gilbert, same situation on the inside. You got Barron, Williams, Bush. Gilbert, I think, is going to challenge Metakevich, but it's possible that they could keep 5 in the middle. So they could keep maybe Dirty Red and Gilbert. So I think there is a path for both of them to make the team. And I think Sutton Smith is the spot that could be up for grabs. And Skipper might end up being a practice squad guy. You would think possibly that he would clear waivers and things like that. But, him having a performance like he did, if he continues to play that way, somebody might snatch him. Everybody ain't deep. We ain't even deep at linebacker. So, all right, a couple more, man. Laquan Lighty, I'm rooting for Marcus Allen, bro. I like him, but he has to show up. Yeah, it's just that simple. He has to show up. Yenzer Mob says, and Yenzer Mob must be from Pittsburgh, because in case you guys don't know, that Yenzer is specifically a Pittsburgh thing. He says they wouldn't keep 10 linebackers. Yeah, you might be right. And that's where it gets tricky. I think, to be honest though, Yenzer, they might. This could be a year that they stretch that a little bit because we really don't have depth in those areas. So maybe you want to keep as many guys as you can because, again, after you get past Ola, and Ola still has to show up consistently, we know what Chick is. You would expect maybe you keep a 5th outside linebacker, and the same thing on the inside. If you only keep 4 inside backers, who's behind Bush? Dirty Red or Gilbert? You see what I'm saying? And you have to think about who can give you defensive snaps. And some guys were showing up on special teams. Not saying that they're better than Dirty Red, but it was some guys making plays out there. You might be able to get that production from another guy, and you let Dirty Red go, and Gilbert makes it. It's interesting. A guy like Spillane is probably going to get on the practice squad. Yeah, Skipper might be a better pass rusher than Chick. Yeah. And I love Chick. A lot of you guys would remember that. Tony remembers this. I love Chick coming out of college, even though he played for the rival because I'm a Knowles fan. I loved him. I just had high hopes with him because I just think he had potential, but never quite panned out. But all right, man, that's my time, guys. I'm gonna go rest up. I'm gonna let the lovely wife take care of me, man, and I appreciate you guys at least making me feel better for this 30-something minutes. It helps, that energy. So I love you guys dealing with me. I'm probably looking droopy and the eyes half closed and voices all raggedy, but y'all know what it is. We all get under the weather at times, man. So I appreciate the love from you guys tonight. And first and foremost, man, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cut on your notifications so you know when streams are live. For you gaming fans, do the same thing so you know when I upload gaming videos. And last but not least, man, if you feel the need to donate, you can do so here in the chat, just like BSG did. Click the $ at the bottom of the chat. Or if you prefer, outside of YouTube, I have PayPal and I have Cash App. That information is in the description. Never a requirement, but of course, would be appreciated. But outside of that, man, y'all take care. Have a blessed night. Keep the Drake family in your prayers. And, hey, man, things must go on, man. You know, you would have to believe that with him being as spiritual as he is, he wouldn't want the team or the fan base to, you know, to bat an eye. You know, you remember him. You know, for those who knew him personally, you cry if you have to, of course. But, you know, we have to continue and, you know, keep his legacy alive, man. I hope the receivers are inspired this year. So, there you have it. All right, man, I'm going to get out of here. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.